Alright. Welcome to a brand new video of the Targeted Individual Program. Targeted Individual Programming, Targeted Individual Experience. Oh, what a day. I love it though. You know, what they'll do, they'll send these European females, you know, they'll come and they'll look at me, and then if there's a gray vehicle passing by, they'll look at the, you know, gray, looking at the license plate with the gray vehicle, you know, and guess what vehicle it is? It's an Audi. You know, I talk about how they use brands and symbols to convey some type of subliminal message. You know, I'm like, come on, man. You know, your messages are so, it is meant to confuse TIs, right? It is meant to manipulate your emotions, right? To elicit the adversarial type of mindset, and then they can say, well, you know, this is who you are. No, this is what they're doing, right? This is what they're doing. They're manipulating you. They're manipulating us, all right? This is what they do. I watched a video in which you had a black man married to a black woman. Okay, this man have 3 kids. None of these children that he had was his. Guess who the children's fathers were? Other family member. How fucked up is that? Right? How fucked up is that? That, and I keep saying, a lot of times, you know, people are conditioned a certain way because they want to cause chaos. And this is the religious, these are the religious fanatics again. And these are so-called Christians, right? These are so-called Christians. His wife is a Christian. Other family members are Christians. And yet they are sleeping with this man's wife, getting her pregnant, right? And he's thinking he's the dad. No. Imagine this man going family dinner, and all these motherfuckers know that that's not his children. It's you know, that they've been sleeping with this man's wife and impregnated her. What crazy shit is that? And like I said, Christians need to understand how they're being manipulated and how they're being used, particularly the Negropeans, right? I keep saying they always talk about love, because they want to do to you, right, what they don't want you to do to them. Let me say that again. They want to do to you what they don't want you to do to them. Okay? So they will attack you and then want to talk about love. It's like, you know, you look, white people, they got white people mindset, right? White people enslave black people. White people continue to oppress black people, lynch black people, brutally assault black people, right? And then preaching love, because they don't want you to do to them what they do to you. You must understand that. You must know this. So we have, the Negropeans have adopted the same mindset, right? And that mindset is being constructed also in the churches. Okay? So like I said, I don't expect people who say one thing and then do another to have any sort of moral hold on morality, regardless of what they claim that they God, whether they God give them morality or not, while looking at people who don't believe in their God, who are more moral and have more morality than they do. I hope you guys heard that. I'm talking 3176, and you heard that crack, that loud crack. Again, it's because I'm being heavily microwaved or hit with, I should say, with directed energy weapons, radio wave frequency. All right, silent sound spread spectrum. So it is the, you know, your bones, when you're being hit with these weapons, your bones loses moisture, right? And this is, you know, some people, you know, it may happen with some people, their knees, their, you know, like their joints, but it happens in, you know, if I turn my neck, everything, back, whole nine. But yeah, like I said, You know, you can't expect people who claim to have morality from their God to have any sort of morality. Why? Because anytime their God commit evil in their holy book, they'll try to justify it. Right? Remember, in the Bible, God said, "Thou shalt not kill," but God kills. "Thou shalt not commit adultery," but God commit adultery. Right? You know what I'm saying? Thou shalt not be envious of thy neighbor, but God is envious of other people. You understand? And he's telling the Israelite, well, be envious of this person, and I'm going to give you their land. That's envious. That's envy. You know, again, because we don't think about these things because we grew up with a belief system, and they've instilled a believer's mind within us. That is why within family members they can do that they can take your things without even thinking about it even twice. That they can destroy your things without even thinking about it even twice. You understand what I'm saying? That they feel that it is their right to have what you have, even though they didn't work for it, even though, you know, they don't even ask permission. They just do as they please. It is the mindset of believers. Okay? It is the mindset of believers. Right? And then you had another woman who was being interviewed, and she was talking about for 3 years, you know, she was making a lot of money. She wanted her husband to be just like her, and her husband was like, no, I just want to, I'm fine at my job, you know, until, you know, the business went under, and she was no longer making the type of money that she once was, and her husband was still there for her. Her husband has been there for her. But she was never there for him while she was making all that money. And when she lost it all, her husband was still there. And her husband told her, he's like, for 3 years you put me through hell. And I've been here, I'm still here for you. Right? So she woke up to that fact, you know, and realizing that, you know, yeah, I did put my husband through hell. I should have loved him for who he is. You know, I want him to love me for who I am, but I tried to change him and literally drove him through hell. Right? But again, when they create a masculine mindset within women, this is what happens. Right? This is what happens. And so what will happen now is that you have a clash between men and women. Not only do you have an ideological clash, right? But in terms of trying to change a woman's nature, right? You have a clash, the battle of the sexes, right? Whereas the man is not trying to be the woman, but the woman is trying to be the man. Right? So you got to understand it and realize what's going on. Right? These sambos around here, you know, wow. You know, these sambos and nigger don't quite understand. Go ahead.